Today let us see about safety monitoring in clinical trial. If you observe the syllabus of clinical research, so lot of topics you can observe all are concerned in the process of clinical trial. Main objective of each aspect, if you observe, that is the safetyness monitoring. Because in the clinical trial, new drugs are screened in a known number of people, because here human volunteers are used. The main concern here is the safety monitoring. So not only during the clinical trial, once the drug launched into the market, also the drug will be in the fourth phase of clinical trial, post-marketing surveillance. So there may be a chance of getting some of the side effects or adverse effects. In such condition, the safetyness monitoring is very much essential. So in this aspect, we are going to see like how the safety monitoring they are going to do with clinical trials. So now in the pre-clinical trials also, during clinical trials and during post-clinical trial, how the safety monitoring is done. So before starting, let us see what is safety monitoring in the clinical trials. So the main aspect over here is the risk management. So the main thing what they will do in safety monitoring is that they are going to identify, they are going to evaluate and minimize, and they will try to manage the risk what will be coming across in the screening process. One example, in Europe, risk management plans they are having in order to drug approval process, that's the EMA. So each country they will be having their own set of regulations. Based on that regulatory bodies, safety monitoring will be conducted, because here so it will be screened in two aspects. One with the ethical committee before giving permission and timely, so periodical reviews they will accept and they are going to check so that the safetyness will be there. And next is the regulatory agencies. We can see up in the different part of the world, they have their own agencies. With the help of agencies also we can overtake the safety measures. So now let us see how the clinical trials are monitored. Usually if you observe clinical trial, usually it will be done by independent physician with relevant expertise. So they are going to monitor the safetyness in the clinical trial. So whenever news adverse effect got appeared, so immediately so that will be reported to the institutional ethical board or ethical committee. So thereby a follow up they will do, and whatever the resolution required, so that they are going to do there itself. So now let us see about the safety in clinical trial, because up to now the aspect it was concentrated only related to the drug. So now many other participants we can observe in the clinical trials. In coming slide in detail we will be seeing like who are the participants. So now here like if a patient or any volunteers, if they are participating in the clinical trial, how we can ensure safetyness for them. So now they are protected through the informed consent process, because you know about informed consent process, detailed information related to the procedures, what they are going to do, then harmful effect, everything will be explained, and later a signature will be taken from them. So thereby this may be one of the safety measures. So then one more possibility with the institutional review board, because it will be having high expertise people from the scientific background. So they are going to review the protocol, and if everything is permissible, then only they are going to give the approval for. So there second time you can observe the safetyness. So then other than we have some monitoring boards like safety monitoring boards. So these people they are going to observe the data. So then data safetyness they are going to see DSMBS, especially for 3 trials they are going to check this. So now let us move on to the topic of safety monitoring in clinical trial. So monitoring patient safety during clinical trial, it's one of the critical components throughout the drug development life cycle, because the pharmaceutical sponsor must work proactively and collaboratively with all the stakeholders to ensure a systemic approach to achieve the safety monitoring process. Anyway, like we will be seeing who are the stakeholders, because the sponsors have a collaborative work here in order to get safetiness during the clinical trial. Because nowadays the regulatory agency have evolved a lot, thereby they are going to increase the safetiness by making some of the risk management plan, risk evaluation, and they will frame some minimization strategies such that safetiness can be observed. Even nowadays you might be heard about pharmacovigilance also. So even the post-marketing drug, it is compulsory to undergo the vigilance. So this is one of the regulatory update what you can observe. Each country they are going to monitor the drug for ADRs. Even passive and active safety surveillance activity from the industries they are going to do. So now comprehensive and innovative approaches are required for quantitative methods to accumulating the data, because from many sources you will get the data. It may start with the drug discovery followed by preclinical studies where animal studies, there are also data you are going to get, and the clinical and post approval settings also. During treatment in the hospital the data may be get collected, as we know, like CRFs are used, case report forms, in that the information will be filled, or patient diaries will be there, in that also the information may be available. Or sometimes post approval stages also we will be getting the data where we are going to assess about the risk and benefits of the drugs. So now I was talking about the stakeholder, because the sponsor always he will be in association with the stakeholders in safety monitoring. Like we have different people over here, like sponsors will be there, then the subjects, investigators, investigation review boards or ethical committee, and data and safety monitoring board will be available so that safetiness can be seen, and regulatory authorities, what I told in the previous videos related to the country-wise, and international boards also are also available, and medical community and the patients. So these are all the stakeholders what you can observe, so that overall we should think about the safety monitoring by observing this. We can see a flow diagram of stakeholders in the clinical trials. We have sponsor, regulators, investigators, IRBR, IEs, monitors, and participants, public and private entities. So general terminologies, let us see before entering into the process. So now already you heard about adverse events or adverse experience. So there won't be any causal relationship between the drug and the event what happened. So undesirable signs and symptoms can be seen, disease or some of the accident. It's not related with the drug, but the patient or the volunteer was under clinical trial. Such incidents may happen. So that can be put as adverse event, because there won't be any causal relation between drug as well as the event occurred. Then next is the side effect. In the normal therapeutical dose what the drug is given, so we will come across with some of the side effects. So they are the pharmacological action only, which cannot be controllable, but if you overweigh it, like side effects are minimal when comparing with the desired therapeutical action, so said that it can be used. Like it is unavoidable side effects. Next is the adverse drug reaction. So here some noxious and unintended reactions we may come across. It may occur at the dose normally mentioned in man for prophylaxis, diagnosis or treatment. So here a causal relation can be suspected. So even in the market also, like in the later days, so they may come across with ADS. That's why like vigilance, so they are going to observe this even after marketing the drug. So next other safety, drug safety, some of the definition which include SAE, there which is called a serious adverse event, are also called as AE or ADR, that is associated with death, because very serious it is. Death can be seen, or sometime life threatening it may turn or result in hospitalization or prolonged existing in the hospitalization, persisting sometime significant disability or incapacity it can cause, congenital anomaly or birth defect it may cause, medically significant events may happen. So they are comes under SAE. And one more we have SUSAR, that is serious unexpected suspected adverse reaction. Here the event is serious but not included in the product core safety data sheets. So then later, so there may be link with the drug. So they are going to suspect the link to the drug, but it was not identified earlier. So they comes under serious unexpected suspected adverse reaction. Usually SAE will be identified during clinical trials only. If it is not, so sometimes serious unexpected suspected adverse reaction it may turn. Then coming with the drug safety, main sources of information from where we will get, because I was talking about the safetiness, because in different stages the drug will pass. So there all the safetiness should be observed. Like first is the pre-marketing, that's the drug development process where we know like preclinical in animal in vitro studies. So there also safetiness should be monitored. And other stages like clinical studies, phase 1 to phase 3. So there also we should go across with the safety monitoring aspects. As we know, like protocol design, CFRs, all with the help of that we are going to monitoring, and periodic reviews will be submitted to the ethical committee. So with the help of this they will have a control over the clinical studies. So then other than the phase 4 studies, as a post-marketing studies also, spontaneous adverse reaction reporting system should be national and international. Spontaneous adverse reaction means like physician immediately when he observes the adverse events directly he is to report, like that's why it's called as spontaneous, very quickly it will be done. And also the regulatory authorities, they will do vigilance, that's a pharmacovigilance related with the post-marketed drug. And other than like contractual partners also they are going to observe about this, and even sometime events may be published in the medical literatures. With the help of that also we are going to observe safetiness. Next is the clinical trial, like post-marketing surveillance and phase 4 studies, epidemiological studies. All this also given information about the drug safety, because once the drug launched in the market in the phase 4 trial, we cannot tell 100% it may be safe, but there may be chance of getting some ADR, so that should be get monitored. So now data will be collected in order to check about the safety concern. So now this can be utilized for routine statistic purpose and special purpose of registers and database of prescription and outcomes. With all this, we will be coming across with the information related to the drug, so that we can make a plan for safetiness. A very serious adverse effect is observed, means there may be a chance of withdrawal of the drug also. Now let us see about clinical trial safety monitoring. Like we have seen like what are the sources and all. Adverse event experienced by a patient, so how it will flows. Now medical evaluation and patient safety discussion will be done by the investigator, because he knows complete information about the study. And the other sources like adverse event noted in the case report form or safety, serious adverse effect reported to the company, or CRO with the protocol specified timelines. Overall, like we will come across with the adverse event experienced by the patient, and we will come across with the data capture and entry, where we'll receive SAE and assign with a unique code for this, and data entry will be done in the ADR database. Our company or CROs, so they will look after this. Later, like medical evaluation may start and reporting assessment will be carried out. Later, they will prepare reports in using various softwares what the company is having, like CIOMS or MedWatch or SAE, narrative formats. Even company or CRO, they will take care. And reporting to the regulatory authorities is the next step, with prescribed timelines if reportable. Like company or CRO will take over. Like reporting in the coming slide, I also made a separate slide. Like reporting, it may be done to IRBs and DSMB, or reporting to the other investigators in other parts. If the clinical trials are moving, there we can go it. And data mining, safety signal and report writing. So annual safety report forms will be prepared, and it will be given to company or CRO. So thereby, so let us see about the process of safety monitoring in the post-marketing surveillance. So that by the pharmacovigilance. This pharmacovigilance is a process of continuous monitoring and evaluation of all the adverse events during and drug development process to ensure the safety of the participants and continual assessment of the risk and the benefits. Already you are very much familiar with the pharmacovigilance. In post-marketing and during the clinical trials also, they were going to check about the safetiness. Any adverse events is observing immediately, so that will be get reported. So this clinical trial process is regulated by specific regulatory guidelines. So they follow ICH guidelines, GCP, US FDA guidelines in order to maintain safetiness. So now coming across the components of the pharmacovigilance, different systems we have like so they're going to reporting system, recording system, and managing of the side effects or adverse effect. So let us observe one by one. Now let us see about the risk management process. So this risk management plan, which is called as RMP, so it's a document plan that describes the risk, its adverse reaction or potential adverse reaction which is associated with the use of a drug and how they are being handled, because we want to manage the risk, because the drug is having a risk. Anyway, like you will check about the ratio, and you are going to see whether safety is overweighing the risk. If safety is overweighing the risk, means such drugs can be taken, but it should be handled in a better way. So how they are being handled? So now by using such drugs, warning on the label of the drug or sometimes like packet inserts of possible side effects which will be observed after taking the drug should be inserted along with the packet, so that the patient can see that and he can inform such side effect to physician or pharmacist or the manufacturers or even FDA or EMA. So this they can involve the packet inserts, by that risk management can be observed. So overall goal of this risk management plan is to assure a positive risk benefit profile once the drug has been marketed. This is also part of a vigilance, like we will come across with the reporting from any patient or other parties. Like what they are going to do, like casualty assessment will be checked from the vigilance, what relation it's having, and signal detections they will do. These are the activities what you have seen in the pharmacovigilance. They will make a risk management plan. Very recently in the previous slide we have seen about the risk management plans. Risk benefit profile of the drug they are going to check, which will over, like benefit is having more or risk is more, means the such drugs won't be used. And pharmacoepidemiological studies they are going to conduct in the post-marketing sessions in order to check about the safetiness. And pharmacogenetics and pharmacogenomic studies, because the drug may interfere with the genetical level and some manipulations in the genes they can do. Such studies will be carried out. So then coming towards the adverse event reporting system, this is also a part of the safetiness. Continuous reports are essential in order to check about the safetiness of the drug. So this can be achieved by individual case safety reports or activities which will be carried out by the pharmacovigilance during the post-marketing also or during clinical trials. Then once the adverse events got, means coding of adverse events will be done according to the standard dictionaries, and seriousness will be determination, and we will come across with the expedited reporting also, because sometime during studies some of the serious adverse events were not observed, but during marketing or post sessions, so there may be chance of getting such events, life threatening events they may be, but they won't be in the drug label. So during that condition, how the reporting can be done, it should be done within 7 days. Can you in the coming slides separately I will be talking. Then other than like clinical trial reporting, it's also spontaneous reporting, because they have to report to the IRBs. And we have spontaneous reporting, as I told, the physician himself, whenever ADS observed, directly he is going to report very quickly. It will happen. And also we have a aggregated reporting system also. Together the reports will be compiled and it will be sent. Let us say about the expedited report. As I told, like during the clinical trials or during post marketing, it was not observed, but sometimes the rare serious side effects will be enlisted during marketing of the drug, which is not described in the drug labeling also. So that's considered related to the use of drug. This is a definition according to the US FDA. So now what should be done during such condition? So now when the report is observed, which is considered as SUSAR, a suspected unexpected serious adverse reactions. So some companies or some countries, they have a reporting system. Within 7 days it should be reported, calendar days. Like today the event have been observed, within 7 days it should be reported. And in some non so much serious, in such condition up to 15 days some countries will allow. So by which day the response is seen, so that day is considered as day 0. From that the time will count. Exactly 7 days it should be reported. So this is considered as reporting. So next is clinical trial reporting, like also known as adverse events or serious AE, reported from the clinical trial. Safety information from clinical studies is used for establishing data safety profile in humans. With the help of this data, the drug safetiness in the profile can be developed. It's one of the key components that drug regulating authorities consider for decision making, as whether to grant or deny the market authorization approval of the drug. It's from the clinical trial reporting. And also we have periodic safety reporting. As ethical community unit, I was talking like periodic safety reporting is very much essential during the clinical trials also, because risk management plan can be done. Usually it will be done in 6-month intervals, or every year, or up to every 3 years. This periodic safety reporting will be done. It's a mandatory for a company to do this. Next we have drug safety update reports. So it's a comprehensive, thoughtful annual review and evaluation of the pertinent safety information collected during the reporting period related to a drug under investigation, whether it may be in the market or it is not in the market. But drug safety update report should be submitted. So now from which day it should be taken? So we have a term called as IBD. So IBD represent international birthday when the drug got introduced into the market, and they are going to create DIBD, that is developmental international birthday. So with the help of DSUR, that is the drug safety report, preparation starts after the first authorization of the clinical trial anywhere in the world. So with the help of this, like periodic updates can be taken. We have a spontaneous reporting system, as I told the physician himself directly. So he is observing the areas and he is going to report it. And also we have aggregating reporting, like aggregate report, also known as periodic reporting, plays an important role in safety assessment of the drug. So this involves the compilation of the safety data for drug over a period of time, months or years it may happen. So it may oppose to single case reporting, which by definition, so it may involves only individual adverse event report. So now here the advantage, it provides a broader view of safety profile of a drug, because individual adverse event reports will be aggregated here. So then we have some other reporting methods also. Country wise it may be get changed. Some countries legally provides permission for spontaneous reporting by the physician. Some countries they may not. In most countries, manufacturers are required to submit through the qualified persons or pharmacovigilance. So this is the pattern many countries they are using. Pharmacovigilance with the qualified persons, they are going to report. Now coming towards the basic framework for pharmacovigilance during the clinical trial, like information from already known safety risk, the collection of data from clinical trials. With that we will be processing towards the safety data, and we are going to evaluate such data which got collected, and with the help of that analyzing benefit risk balance in a product, we are going to summarize whether benefit is overweighing or risk is overweighing. Based on that, we are going to make safety plans, and later the drug may be marketed with some labels or indications. So now let us see what are the responsibilities of all the stakeholders. This is just the repetition what you have studied with different chapters. Now let us say about the sponsor responsibility in the pharmacovigilance. Use and adopt pharmacovigilance procedures to monitor adverse reaction according to the clinical trials. Even modification in protocol due to safety or efficacy concern, example dose change, change in the study inclusion criteria, or intensification of monitoring. So this is all the responsibility of the sponsor. Restriction in the study population or indication. Any changes to the informed consent document related to the safety issues. Periodic reviewing they are going to do, and they are going to change it also. Formulation changes or safety reason anything is required, means formulation changes they may go with. And addition of a special reporting requirements. These are all the responsibilities of the sponsors. And also he is a key person who is going to communicate between the investigator and other healthcare professionals about the periodical changes what's happening. And plans for new safety trials can also be planned by him. Ongoing safety evaluation of the investigational medicinal product, and also immediate notification of finding from the clinical trial that could adversely affect the health of the subject, because he will be having an update related to the study what's going, so he may caution the trials. Preparation of various essential documents which include protocol, investigator brochure, case report forms. This is the role of a sponsor. So that overall we can see about the safety over here, and reporting of ADS in the clinical trial is the role of sponsors. Then if you see about the protocol, many information you have seen in the ethical committee only. According to ICH E6 defines protocol as a document that describes the objective, design, methodology, statistic consideration and organization of the trial. The protocol usually also gives the background and rationale for the trial, but this could be provided in other protocol referent documents, because this protocol is having complete information. After seeing the protocol only, the ethical committee have given the approval. This will act as a background for a clinical trial. Proper protocol means safetiness will be more. So this is the guidance in protocol for pharmacovigilance and safety reporting section. So a definition of adverse event, SAE and SAR. The protocol, very like each people in the group they should know everything. A definition of expedited and unexpected adverse event the protocol should have. Specification of the safety parameter to be studied along with the methods and timing for recording and analyzing should be mentioned. Standards for expedited reporting with reporting time frames, because sometime during study it is not of the post marketing it may came across. In such condition also very serious it is. Declaration from the primary investigator that he will ask the study subject during each scheduled or unscheduled visit about the experience of any events or hospitalization, disability or incapability. So this all the declaration from the primary investigator it will be collected. Then also the contact address or numbers of the primary investigator to be provided to the study subjects to expedite the reporting of adverse events. In case of occurrence of serious adverse effect in a blinded clinical studies, the management for the blinded therapy cases should be given with a clear responsibility of breaking the code by binding, because compensation will be given in such condition. And also clear statement for ADR that are not deemed to be reported in sponsor unless they are considered to be occurring with a greater frequency. And the statement for SAE that may not be deemed to be recorded and reported as expedited reporting should be clearly mentioned. Suppose you are thinking it is not very much serious, You should give the reason why it is not reported as SAE to the committee. So these are all the responsibilities. In safety monitoring aspect, even the CRF, that's a case report forms, are also act as a source, so that from the data what you are getting from the case report forms also, which will helps in making some of the decisions so that safetiness can be made. This CRF, that's a case report form, it is available as a printed document, like manually it may be written, or sometime optical or electronic documents also available nowadays, and by using websites also the CRFs are uploaded in the soft format. So with the help of this information, what the investigators are getting, so that may be given for the sponsors. About each individual, the information will be collected over here. And during the clinical trial process, whatever the adverse events are reported, so that should be get recorded. That should be very much specified. For routine data collection, study protocols clearly defines like how to overcome or take these adverse events, and it will be identified, managed and reported, and all the things will be reported in the CRFs. Even from the pharmacovigilance perspective, non-serious adverse events are also recorded and reported if anything occurs. If you found it very important to the safety monitoring, so all the things will be recorded in the case report form. So next, in the safety monitoring, IB is there, like that is called as the investigator brochure, because new drugs is under the screening now. There no one will be having complete information, even the physician also, related to the dose or method of administration, frequency, and what interval should be made, and all. So with the help of this investigational brochure, so they will get a complete information related to the drug, and also investigator brochure serve as a source of document for the medical product in the country, because the drug is not approved yet, but some documents, if it is available and if somebody asks, means investigator brochure can give complete information about the drug information. Even investigator brochure can act as an important source document which can define expectedness and unexpectedness of the adverse drug reaction. So with the help of investigation brochure, complete information can be gathered. And one more aspect, that is the safety update report. Even it's called as DSUR, Development Safety Update Report, because I told in the ethical committee also, maintaining such information is very much essential, because periodic updates will be there, so that information should be updated to the ethical committee also. Safety updating reports are also called as SURS, which present safety profile of an investigational drug and action proposed. So actions which include early termination of the trial or ongoing status, or addition of any extra visits for a patient for evaluation of the safety. Such things can be periodically updated if you have safety update reports. So now coming towards the objective of this drug safety update report, that is DSUR. Overall, like, this objective helps to maintain safetiness, to provide a summary of understanding and management of the identified and potential risk, to describe new safety issues, and to examine whether the information obtained by the sponsor during the reporting period is in accordance with the previous knowledge of the product's safety. Many times during the trial, the new information may be get gathered. So they are going to check whether the knowledge is available earlier or whether the information is new, or such things will be one of the objective of DSUR. And also to provide an update on the status of the clinical investigation or developmental process, because they will be having complete information related to the drug and its treatment. So now they can give the update on what is the status of the clinical trials. Complete information they can provide. So this is the objectives of drug safety update reports. With this objective, the safetiness can be maintained. So next, other than investigator responsibilities, like we know who is the investigator, like he will be having complete information related to the project, and he will be leading that project. So now any serious adverse events are seen, means immediately he is going to inform to the sponsor or sometime to the ethical committee also. Even sometime investigation brochure identifies as not requiring immediate reporting, means sometime he can nullify it. Before that he should have sound knowledge about the drug. So because I told like investigation brochure will be having complete information, based on that they will decide. So this is the role and responsibility of investigator. So then coming with the responsibility of IEC or IRB, like I told, like periodic updation they will do, and these are the people they are going to give permission for the conduction of the ethical work. So after getting clearance only the research work can be started. So this IRB or IEC should promptly report it for both serious and unexpected ADRs. Whatever they will get, that should be reported. Any changes or deviation in the protocol to eliminate immediate hazards to the trial subjects, they can inform. Any changes creating an increase in the risk to subjects, changes in the protocol if it is required, which can affect the trial, means they can inform. And also any new information that may adversely affect the safetiness to the subject during the clinical trial. So they are free so that they can inform without permission or rectification. So the project cannot be continued. So then we have a last aspect, that is the management of case safety reports. So now we know like adverse events have been reported. So now how management can be done? Because once the adverse events is noted, the main thing they will do, that is the detailed analysis for the seriousness, causality and expectedness related to this. They are going to check by the sponsors on the individual case safety reports. They will check, because it's not very easy to withdraw the drug immediately, because a lot of money have been invested also. That's why like they will closely observe by taking the individual case files. Even sometime all the collected adverse events from all the centers they are going to, because multi-center trials may be conducted, so they are going to check about the adverse events, because many times genetically some region they may get some of the adverse event or adverse reaction that cannot be observed with the others. So they are going to pool all the events and they are going to decide in the later. So this is how the management of safety reports, case reports they are going to do during the clinical trials. Now coming to the other risk assessment, if a product is having some side effects that's chronically used or has a dose related toxicity, so that also will be analyzed. If a product proposed dosing include a proposed titration scheme, that's depending on the physiological parameters also. We will be comparing the dose. Dose titration means adjustment of the dose by observing some of the vital things, or some lab values also it can be done. Even when a drug has the potential for adverse events which are not likely to be detected or reported by a patient, in such condition also risk may be happening in future. Risk assessment should be done. If a product is studied to be a pediatric patient, special safety issues should be considered, because these are the risk population. We will be enlisting a risk population separately. In such people, assessment should be done continuously. So the last aspect, that is the like earlier safety data signal on unusual or important concern. In such cases, a sponsor may consider reserving blood samples from the sample or all patient in the phase 3 studies, because in later days there may be chance of getting some complications. That's why like if data signal is observed, means there is a casual relation if it is there, and sometimes like unusual signal is there, such condition also drug may be present in the blood, so that blood sample should be collected, so that it should be stored also. Further, whenever required, they will go for analyzing such things. So now what is the benefit of risk assessment? Usually like a prescribable evaluates the balance for the patient we have two things. We have benefits over the risk, because many times the drug will be having adverse drug reaction, side effects also, but it will be in the market. So this is how they will do. They are going to check about the benefit versus the risk. Now regulatory authorities evaluates the balance for the population. When prescriber evaluates the balance for patient, and patient evaluates the balance for himself, because he is going to inform about the side effect or essay what happened with him based on such things and all. So you are going to assess the benefit versus the risk. So this is a dynamic process of benefit risk assessment with increasing use of the drug. So from different sources we are going to get the data. With the help of this we are going to weigh this benefit versus the risk, like preclinical and clinical trials. This is how the trial will proceed. Once clinical trials got ended, fourth phase post-marketing early phase trial will start, and post-marketing last phase we can observe in the phase 4. And continued surveillance and reviewing will be there, like up to many years, how long the drug will be in the market. So it will be under the vigilance according to the new guidelines. Now here we are going to get the data. Spontaneous reporting can be observed in preclinical, clinical trials also. So then even intensive hospital surveillance can also be observed. Prescribing, monitoring and case reports we may get in many stages, like more data we are going to get about the safety and harm of the drug. So then coming towards each phases passing over, like preclinical to post-marketing, phase of uncertainty and gap knowledge can be observed. Even post-marketing pre to the post, like a phase of reduced uncertainty and knowledge gap can be observed, because much people have taken the drug here because it's introduced into a high population. Then coming to the post-marketing late phase, like a phase of better understanding and knowledge will be there related to the drug, because almost complete data will be available. Even some of the epidemiological studies and case control coherent studies also will produce the data. So these all data which will be generated in all these three phases will help to continuous monitoring of the drug, so that risk benefit assessment can be done. So now the last bit under the discussion is the handling of the medication error. As we have seen, like a medication error will happen because of prescribing or dispensing or administration of the drug. In any aspect this medication error will happen. Even the drug once get in the market also, there may be chance of medication error. So this may happen because of proprietary names also. Sometimes packing may be resembling. In such condition while dispensing the drug may be dispensed wrongly. In such condition medication error may have, or sometimes like proprietary names are matching. In such condition, or if it is confusion, in such condition also medication errors may happen. So that should be taken into the consideration before marketing, so that we can avoid such medication errors. Even during clinical trial, suppose improper dilution or administration technique, if it is not optimal, in such condition also there may be chance of medication error. This should be carefully examined as a warning sign that the product could be subject to dosing errors that may warrant change in the labeling, packing or designing. So each steps they are going to observe, and any errors have been observed in the sense like there is an option to rectify it in the labels itself, they can mention it. Even design of the product and the packing also should be changed if it is required, if it is causing confusion means. So this is the conclusion slide, drug safety requirements. Now what are the requirements, and here you will come across with the job opportunities also, like where after completion what are job opportunities we have also. This is a concluding slide. Drug safety requirement, first thing is the understanding of the global requirement and regulation. That's a regulatory affairs people. Regulation very previously we have seen. So these people they are going to check over this. Then other than workflow management of SOPs for the collection of ADRs, standard operating procedure is required, like how to collect ADRs, collation, assessment, reporting and risk management is required, the drug safety requirement. Then other than validated data bases like ARGIS or Oracle, AERS, like these are the softwares, various softwares are available for data safety purpose. A data document management system, storage and security. It may play important role because in future if the data are required, it can be retrieved. And data backup and disaster management. We can see a list of people who are working over here. That is the drug safety associates will be the drug safety physician, medical safety writer and drug safety experts.